Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Rebooked, the show where we talk about the big, meaty men and women who be slapping the meat in the middle of the ring and the stories they tell in the process, brother. I'm, of course, the man yapping at you right now. I'm GB, and we have the Drama King, Matt Rehwoldt, TNA's very own. And we are here today to yap about all the things that happen in pro wrestling. But, of course, if you're a long-time viewer and listener, you realize that we're without Jake the Brain Bennett. That is because he, unfortunately, will not be able to join us this week, and thus his streak had ended. He had to go home, but he did give us a statement to read, and I felt it was only apropos if the Drama King read this statement live on air.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. This is from the desk of one Jacoby G. Bennett. Dated January 19th, 2026 at 7:04 p.m. He doth say to the fans of Rebooked. No laughing. Please, I need complete silence. I will not be available for the show today, breaking my streak for the most episodes hosted. Since we did not win the Golden Globe for Best Podcast for having put out pure gold for 2 years plus, I no longer feel an obligation to think purely of the podcast, although it will always be predominant. This podcast is not secure until we have complete and total domination of the market. Thank you, JGB.
Wait a minute. Is it he didn't get the prize he wanted, so now he just wants to take it by force? That's incredible.
Well, yeah.
Who would do that?
I mean, to be fair, who says Amy Poehler should have the Golden Globe? Because she had a boat that landed there on the podcast shores a couple hundred years ago.
It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. It truly is. Unbelievable.
So did we. We were doing a podcast 2 years ago, so we should have the Golden Globes.
We should have the Globes. And honestly, the fact that we don't have the Globes is a problem. So get out there, let everyone know that we have to get the Globes. And once we do that, we'll be good to go. Okay? Everyone, make it happen. Get us to the Globes. Jake, we miss you, buddy. And I know you're listening to this right now. Hopefully you enjoy the conversation. And you're yelling at the phone as you're just like, shut up, Alex. Just move on, damn it. All right, this is us moving on. So let's go ahead and do it. As always, we like to check out some of the fan comments. We had a couple this week, couple good ones that were, quite lengthy. Okay, phrasing, but still, like there was a lot of thoughts that were shared. Thoughts for your thoughts. For those of you who know that reference. This one comes from Young Odo, 1994, which, I want to say, that was a good year, man. 94 was solid. And the 90s were great. Yeah, 94 wasn't bad, and from there on, 2024, good Lord. Anyway, so now look at this. He says, interesting observation I made. With Mark Briscoe holding the TNT title, Stat, Willow, and Harley holding all three women's titles, this technically makes the conglomeration the most dominant faction in AEW at the moment. And he is right.
Yeah, that's true.
He is right. And it could be more because I believe Roddy is going to be fighting Claudio for the CMLL World Heavyweight, although I don't know if Roddy's going to win that, but it would be like the worst thing if he did. So, yeah, conglomeration is kind of like a stacked faction, and that happened out of nowhere.
They seemingly haven't been on, like, obviously they're not like disbanded, but they haven't really been doing things they kind of gone off on their separate side quests. Like, like you said, like the women have kind of they're running in with Death Triangle and all that stuff, and then Roddy and Mark are hanging out over here, like and then OC is just there for now.
It's like, it's interesting, but like it's working for them though.
But it's true. But it is true. They have a ton of gold.
And also, like, the faction has never really been that defined as a faction to begin with. So if anything, all this is just lending more just justification to what this faction actually is, which is like a very weird
It's a
non-faction.
conglomeration of just like
Conglomeration.
random people who just like hanging out with each other.
Yeah, and conglomerating.
It's basically just like, you could call it an extended version of, shout out Chuck Taylor, of like the best friends,
Yeah.
just extended to more people.
Yeah.
And like real life friends, sometimes you're hanging out, but then sometimes you're just, with your spouse over here. Sometimes you're hanging out by yourself.
Yep.
And like, I just love how they're like, to your point, nonchalantly the most dominant faction, like to the point where they don't even brag about it. They're not even.
And the only one
it.
who's mentioned it once has been Mark Briscoe. He's the only one who's like, we're out here killing it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like we're the most dominant faction. No, it was like everyone's doing so well and we are so proud of everyone. That has been the message. I love the conglomeration. Actually, the more I think about it, this is like one of the best modern factions because it is the most millennial faction that you could possibly ask for, right? Like
Mark Briscoe had a great nursery rhyme thing in his promo this week, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I just remember something about like, if you speak English or Espanol, sit at the table, like pass the roll. Like it was
so stupid.
And it was just about like being friendly at the dinner table. I don't know. It was really funny.
It really does work. And I think like, I don't know like a lot of those guys personally, because I didn't get a chance to work with them. The only one that I hung out with was Orange Cassidy of that group. It was like Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, like really nice people. It was just so freaking lovely to this like complete stranger outsider in their world. And I would like hang out with him and Excalibur because, we're co-commentators. You got to hang out with your duo, right? It's just how it is. So, it was really cool. And so it's funny to see like the character very much model real life, I think, in this. With like this is just how it is. Homies coming together and just conglomerating. So excellent observation, young Odo. And excited to see where it goes. But also, like, do they add some layers to this story, or is it just this? If it's just this, I'm kind of okay with it. But if they wanted to go with a little bit more with Roderick Strong being like more angry or someone betraying or whatever, that could be cool. Right? I don't know. Does that compel you?
It'd be interesting. I don't know. I mean,
or do you just like the idea of this faction just being what they are?
It feels weird. I don't think, like, the one thing about this faction of the conglomeration, I don't think as a group they could ever be heels.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
like,
no.
I don't think
no. It doesn't
I mean,
work.
I guess you could, but you'd have to really know. Like, somebody in it could turn heel on them.
Yeah. Everyone needs to turn heel at the same time in order for it to work. They have to conglomerate to do evil things together.
But they're not turning as a group. They just separately in their own feuds decide to turn and then come together. And they realize, you have that promo where they're all like,
wait a minute.
We're all like real bad, aren't we?
Wait, are we the baddies?
Really angry lately.
Are we the baddies this time? Oh man, that'd be so funny. I actually think that'd be genius, but man,
you could.
The amount of long-term storytelling that you would need for that is just on another level that I don't know professional wrestling is capable of being able to do. So maybe one can dream, one can hope. We have one more comic. This one's a long one as well. A lot of thoughts. This one was a rant, okay, from a longtime listener and viewer of the show, Philo2189. They said, even if someone is just a minion or a grunt on the roster, even a jobber, people need to understand that there's nothing wrong with that. Not saying you guys are saying that. I'm talking about the people who think these are negative things. Not everyone can be a champion or main eventer, and if you're a jobber, and I think everyone's kind of getting the point of this comment here, is essentially saying how, like, you need everyone to do a role in the show. And I am going to agree and also disagree with Philo here. And I'm going to agree in that, yes, you're right. Everyone has a role to do in the show. That much is very much certain. Anyone who works in show business or on camera or whatever, like, you have a role to do. Me and Matt do that every single weekend, every single time we go and do our job, right? I'm a host of a broadcast, and for my show, I am responsible for driving the conversation and keeping things moving along and ensuring that, like, I'm a cog in the machine that just kind of assists things. I am not the show, right? And everyone has to kind of like understand that. That being said, Matt, I think you can relate to this, though, as a professional wrestler. Like, You still want, I would imagine everyone gets into wrestling because they would like to be the guy who holds the championship once. No, like that does sound fun, right? I mean, I don't know. I won a belt playing Halo. That was fun. What do you make of Philo's approach here from your perspective, both as a person working on the production side of things, as a commentator and professional wrestler, but also as a professional wrestler?
I mean, he's not wrong in the terms of like number one, first and foremost, yes, everybody on the roster, everybody on the whole team deserves respect for the role they play in the show. From the opening match guy you've never heard of to your top champion, because it's anybody who gets out there and stands out there in tights and is putting on this show. It's not easy, and it's a tough thing to do, even if you're the guy taking a lot of losses or whatever.
Yeah.
That said, it is a strange business, and it's one where you can go from one position to another. It's like you're cast as a character, but your character can change.
Yeah.
Unlike in a movie, or something like that, where you're just playing one role. But they are right. I mean, like, not everybody can be your world champion main eventer all the time, too, I think is the thing. And
very true.
People see wrestlers they really like go to a company, and if they're not immediately in the main event, they get really sometimes consternated or whatnot. And it's like, hey, it's a marathon. Wrestling, almost more than a lot of entertainment, is a marathon, not a sprint. And there's very few people who get to walk in with the main event treatment, and those are mostly the exceptions.
Yeah.
Or there are people who have gotten to that because they did 8 million miles of work to lead up to that. I think a great example is like AJ Styles came to WWE and was pretty immediately in the main event. But that's not because like, oh, he got special treatment. It's because he put in 20 years of work, or 15 years at that point, of Japan and TNA and all this stuff, and had this reputation, right? But then, like, I think, I'm not calling anyone out in particular, but like, Josh Alexander, for example, was a huge champion in TNA for us. For a number, for a while. It's coming to AEW and was kind of just in the Don Callis family, riding in the middle of the wave, right? When he first came in for the better part of 2025. And like, yes, I would have said, yes, Josh Alexander is capable of carrying the AEW world title. He's so damn good. He's such a good wrestler. He's a good professional. But that's not everybody all the time. However, and we'll talk about it during AEW, is starting to filter towards the top of those segments and those
fighting Kenny Omega this week. Like, you don't fight Kenny Omega.
Speedball Mike Bailey is another one, right? People loved him. He had a ton of potential coming from TNA as well. That's where he really burst onto the scene. Why isn't he winning the international title right away? Because you got to get to know him and everything. And now he's winning a title with a tag team. Is a great way to make. So all this to say, I think Philo has a good point about like.
Excellent point.
Be patient with the people you like. It doesn't mean they're being disrespected. It doesn't mean they're being buried. It doesn't mean they're being trashed on if they're not in the main event all the time. If you're seeing them on, all I can say from this is if you're seeing someone consistently on TV in pro wrestling, not even every week, but like most weeks, you're seeing them compete, you're seeing them used, they're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah. And also to add to that, because something I didn't consider nor remember is like I went out to the esports arena or esports stadium in Arlington to go watch Collision, and they filmed Ring of Honor. They filmed like multiple episodes of Ring of Honor there. That audience that was there for Collision stayed and watched those wrestlers. Ace Austin fought, Shane Taylor Promotions fought, right? And they were great matches because clearly they're putting a little bit more emphasis on Ring of Honor, but like they're working, like clearly like people are watching these guys do the thing that they're doing. So, and I think like the content's out there. And because the distribution methods are a little bit different now, right? You can get so much pro wrestling on YouTube. You can get so much pro wrestling on TikTok or, whatever platform you go on. Everyone always was like so hyper focused on TV, and it makes a lot of sense. But, these people are here, they're working in front of crowds, and they're getting paid. So Yeah, that's a great comment, Philo, and I'm glad you took the time to write that. I'm sorry I didn't read the entire thing; it was quite long, but he did say it was a rant, so FYI. So yeah,
Touche.
it's all good. But yeah, so Philo, thank you so much once again for that. I think like that kind of conversation feeds awesomely into what we wanted to talk about, which is just like where things are going and a little bit of the uncertainty that exists across a lot of the promotions, both negatively and positively. But rather than focus on the negatively exclusively, not like we'll ignore things, but I think it's important to kind of look at like where the stories, the narratives, that things can go, right? We're approaching WrestleMania season right now. So that means Royal Rumble's around the corner, right? What's going on over there, right? There's a lot of uncertainty right now. TNA just had their AMC premiere as well as Genesis. I'm looking at this as kind of like a soft reset almost of TNA. I don't know if that's like accurate to say, Matt. You can correct me. But what do you think?
Like a little bit. I
Like
mean,
the softest of resets. It's kind of just
yeah,
like,
because like we didn't fully like drop and reset everything, but you're not wrong.
yeah,
There's a few continuing stories from 2025 that are still wrapping up or
yeah.
carrying over. But most things, I'm trying to think of most
'Cause the
feuds
last
and
Access show
stories.
felt like a really fascinating conclusion to the Impact on Access era. So like, I thought it was really good. So I felt like it was just like, oh hey, we're doing this, and then the tone did shift a little bit from the AMC premiere to like the end of Access. So that's why I'm saying like
Sure,
visually for me, it feels like a softish reset. But you're right,
for sure.
there are aspects that are pulling from the Access era,
Yeah.
let's call it,
But
into this
to
one.
your point, though, there is a lot of fresh starts happening. There's going to be even more happening this Thursday. So there is a kind of a churning over of like branching into new things
Yeah.
in 2026 from Genesis onward, and obviously in the new AMC era, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll of course be talking about some of our theories and how that could work out, and then on the AEW side, some really big changes happened over the weekend, and then also you had a great Dynamite leading into a very exciting collision that had a surprise result that I'm glad I managed to stay away from all week because it was pre-recorded and I did not see any of the spoilers. So that was a very fun and pleasant surprise. And also how it even came about too, I thought was a kind of a little funny wink, wink, nod, a nudge, nudge. So we'll talk about that as well. So yeah, that's it. Let's dive into it and talk about what the heck is going on right now with the Royal Rumble. I want to start just primarily with that because I was watching. I saw. I think it was What Culture Guys did a video. Where they were talking about like the build, and I guess like Cody Rhodes is the only person that is like announced for the Rumble, but that was like one of the things that
They
they
had
were
a few
like
more on Raw.
they added a
They had a
few
few
more.
more.
So it
Yeah.
feels like we're building now. It feels like
Yep.
we're getting to that point. Um, it is obviously like a bit of a bizarre one because this one's going to be in Riyadh, so I think a lot of folks are not sure what to expect there. Um, but there's a I feel like there's almost like a better story going into the Rumble, and it's the AJ Styles Gunther story.
Mm,
Um,
yes.
because the Rumble's nice, but and it's kind of weird to say that knowing that it's the Royal Rumble, but I don't know why, but I'm just way more compelled by this Gunther AJ Styles thing. And we've got confirmation AJ Styles is going to put his career on the line against Gunther at the Royal Rumble. That was the incentive Gunther wanted. And I just want to commend both of the dudes on an incredible segment. That was great. I was so hooked and into it the entire time. Gunther's such a douche. He's really playing the character incredibly well. Where do you see where do you see this going? Because I don't think this is the retirement of AJ Styles,
No.
right?
I don't either. There's been a lot of people who've already tried to put it there and like, oh, well, he debuted
No.
at the Rumble in 2016.
Yeah.
So here we are 10 years later. Maybe what a great full circle moment. In my mind, there's not a chance in hell. Because one, there isn't enough made of it yet. Like it's a great, they've had a great segment and chemistry so far. But it's still very young in like this feud. So to end in like, oh, he's done now, like less than a month after even kind of going back and forth at each other. No way. But I think that's exactly what they're counting on the audience maybe believing of like, because he's been very public about this is probably my, if not definitely my last year wrestling. Didn't make a definitive like John Cena thing like 2026, but like very much was pretty clear about it. Like
a genuine question. I mean, and this is just for my own morbid curiosity. Do you really think he ends his career in WWE?
100%.
Okay. I was
not a shot he goes anywhere else.
Yeah, I was just wondering like would he entertain the idea of going back to TNA to close out, or would he entertain the idea of going to AEW to like have a match with Kenny one last time or something like that?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be stupid enough to be like never
because he could still go. I know like he's obviously changed his style a little bit, having watched him for so many years now. You kind of have to naturally, right? Your body can only do so many incredible things for so long.
Sure.
But my God, he could still wrestle with some of the greatest like that are doing it right now. So,
but I think that's his point is I want to be done while I can still do that.
Before
I
even
read. Take one step downward.
Good read.
I don't even want to give myself. He's kind of been very clear about that.
Yeah.
And
he wants his legacy to be airtight. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's been pretty, from the things I've heard him say too, he's been pretty dead on about like, I'm finishing my career in WWE.
Yeah.
Now, do I think we might see a crossover for one more TNA match? I'm selfishly hoping.
Yeah. Like I would really like that.
He was at the AMC premiere. He did confront Frankie Kazarian, who has now lost the world title, but he did do the old glance down at the world title, and he went nose to nose with Frankie. I don't know.
Yeah,
one can hope. It may lead to nothing. But
I would be fine, honestly, if AJ just fought Santana for the title, lost. It's fine. That's enough. For me, that's enough.
Or I think you could have a great thing. I mean, fights Frankie Kazarian, who now doesn't have a title, so you don't have to worry about anybody dropping a belt.
That too.
They were both on the first ever episode of Impact. 23 years ago or whatever. X Division rivals, decades of history. And you have them going, Frankie's a heel. You have AJ beat Frankie in a one last time in TNA match. I think it would be incredible.
Yeah,
that's
totally
my
agree.
wishful thinking. Again, this
Put
is
it
not
into the world. Put it into the world.
This is me just putting that because I want it.
We got to be very clear here. When we do this podcast, for any potential journalist that wants to pick up his statement as like definitive fact,
I book nothing. I don't have intel onto the long-term creative process or anything.
We are fans.
That is I'm still that's what selfishly I want to see it in our company in TNA.
Yeah.
But I think this is a moment. I thought they would do this perhaps later. Like I would have Gunther retire 2 people. And then he does a thing where like he does it to Brock or somebody else, and then they beat. But I think AJ beats him, kind of showing it like and knocks Gunther down a peg and like, whoa, see, I still got more left in me, kind of thing. And then maybe this is a year-long story.
Yeah.
Where Gunther he tries to fight him again at WrestleMania. AJ wins again. God dang it.
Yeah.
And then they maybe towards the end of the year, one final blowout, and then he retires him. Or maybe it's somebody else who does. But no, I think this is we just retired Cena. He's overconfident as a heel. thinks he can just do it again. AJ, you said you're retiring. Screw it. I'm going to retire you right now, just like I did Cena. And then this starts AJ's retirement tour. I'm going to be done soon, but I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
Watch me.
Does he pull off one last world title run along the way then?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, AJ Punk is a marquee match, for example.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a WrestleMania match, man.
Yeah, like to me, I feel like AJ Styles, especially like with the audience in this generation now, having watched this dude do his thing now for a very long time. What do you like? Well over 25 years at this point, something like that, maybe even more.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, I think people would be down for that, you know? And actually, this is a great segue into the other thing that I think people are down for, and I think WWE is starting to realize it. And that's Finn Balor as well. They have these New Japan guys who were like at one point considered to be the greatest in the world. That did not go away. Like, those guys are still very good. Like, they're still incredibly talented. Finn Balor, AJ Styles, like those two dudes alone, like, were moving mountains back then when I was watching what they were doing in Japan. Like, it was so freaking good. So it was really nice to see in that main event, in that match, Finn Balor have that moment again. Come back out, be the showman that we did the thing. I did the thing, Matt. And we went and I was like, oh, you know, like that was great. It was fun. And then I'm like, WWE, what are you doing? You've had this in your back pocket the whole time. You could have had this guy be this dude the entire time. I just think that there's an opportunity here for guys like AJ Styles and Finn Balor to really just like get people like really back in and reinvested again.
I think that's really true. And I will say this though, and this might be controversial to some or Sam's about almost to the point of the comment from Philo earlier, the idea of like that you're 100% right. And you could have done something like this in theory with Finn anytime over the last 3-4 years. Right. Like, cause he's always been that good. He's been that good since Japan and all, right. NXT and everything. 100%, not a doubt in my mind. But that said, in the time that Finn, for example, has been occupied with the Judgment Day, again, he's been on TV almost every freaking week. He's had a gimmick that's gotten really over, much in part to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they've moved merch. They've had entertaining segments. They've been serious heels. They've been funny heels.
True.
So, like, it's kept them busy and relevant. And then, but in that meantime, other people moved into the main event. Damian Priest, people like that, moving into the main event scene. So now, if he reemerges, we kind of dissolve Judgment Day. I'm not saying they're just gone, but like he kind of splits out. Now he's got a new crop of like main event talent and everything. Braun Breaker's breaking out, all this stuff that he can work with too. So like, I'm not saying like, oh, he should never have been in the world title over the last couple of years, but I'm like, but I don't. He wasn't being punished. A lot of people are like, he's held back or punished. It's like, no, they have a good thing going with that group. But now I do think there is definitely room for him to kind of reemerge on his own. And, you know, obviously Irish crowd, Northern Irish crowd, to be fair, super behind Finn and everything. Great. Yeah. It was really great to see him show up and show out. Again, I agree. And I love Fergal so much.
Yeah, no, he's a super talented guy. I met him once. I did a IGN thing, and it's just a nice guy, you know. So it was easy to cheer for. So I was really bummed out when he like won the Universal title, and then like a day later had to give it up because he was injured.
I think you have to. That's such a good story.
That's part of the story. Yeah,
you got to.
And they pulled at the strings. They pulled at the strings in commentary too on the walkout. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, man. No, just like, and like tell that story. Let him, if you do, let him do more of this, like, hey, kind of let Finn be Finn, let Finn be Devitt kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
He can talk about that. Like, look, I lost sight of that. Like that night broke my heart. You know what I mean? And I tried to get back, and I've had missteps and everything like that. And I kind of just relegated myself to maybe that's not going to happen. But you know what? Screw it. I can't. Like him, Sami Zayn's really making that play. It seems like in 2026 to like not just be the underdog, you know, with a mid card title every now and then. Maybe this is his time too. Like if we're going to talk about we're talking about the future and like what could be and stories and characters. I would love to see 2026 be like the rise of like the guys who should have had it
Yeah.
are getting it.
Yeah.
Starting off with Drew McIntyre, for example, like winning the big belt. Like he's won a world title before, but it's been in front of 0 people. It's been really short reigns, you know, like Money in the Bank cash-ins, all that stuff. So like starting off the year with Drew, a guy who has carried the banner in many feuds and high profile things and has been the fucking guy, is now holding it. So like, I don't know. To me, that could be a good omen that it's not just the same old people, but it's the people who like should have had it. Maybe they're going to get it this year. I would love to see that.
And even to add a little bit more to that as well, right? Like it's not exactly 1-to-1, but I even got to look at like CM Punk almost and be like, hey, here's this guy who like, you know, say what you will about him. He obviously has a lot of like flaws as far as like the way he approaches some situations, as we've seen very publicly. But one thing you cannot dispute is that like he had this goal of like being the guy, of being the dude who like had the big title, who was main eventing the big shows, who was doing the big matches. And, you know, goes AEW and starts putting together a series of like really good matches. Does what I think like any reasonable person would do, like work matches, work your way up, blah, blah, blah. But like, you know, he was looking for that moment. And then he never really got it in AEW because he got injured and then, you know, all the other crap that happened in between. So now it's like, here he is, and he's having like a series of pretty damn good matches. And like, you know, the match with Braun Breaker was pretty damn good. The Finn Balor match, pretty damn good. Like this guy has genuinely been putting together good matches, a fun title reign that was really just a title reign that needed to be saved given the circumstances that it happened to begin with. And along the way, it's been elevating people like Finn Balor again, you know, giving people like Braun Breaker that platform to really shine. Who knows what's next, right? And who knows who else he's gonna like fight along the way. So yeah, like I agree with you. I think it's super cool. There's just a lot of we're hopefully we see this, you know, in this development more and more of these guys who like have always been right there. And it's the NXT dudes as well. It's the black and gold era NXT guys who are like, people just want to see them get those big moments again, you know?
Hell yeah.
Because, I mean, that was like formative wrestling years for me. I love the black and gold eras. While we do have some cool ideas coming out, we also have some surprising stuff that's just been dropping. Like, for example, in AEW, we have brand new trios champions. Jetspeed, as I saw someone
is
point
that
out.
the name?
No.
Oh wait, no. I don't know if we're gonna get demonetized. Did you see the Mike Bailey stream?
No.
Where he was talking, you know, like his Twitch stream. I love you, Mike. If you ever see this, but he was polling his viewers on what they should call it, and it was something like. It was like, you know, it was like speed cowboy jet. And so either way, they ended up saying, like, settling on horsecock.
Yes.
And
yes.
And he was telling people, he's like, well, we're showing up to like this city. So if the whole audience go ahead and chant horsecock.
I hope this happens.
And then he's like, wait, never mind. Maybe don't do that. But we'll see.
Oh, dude, I hope enough people saw that and that it gets some traction. That is so funny.
But I thought I saw. I
saw Jetspeed as like one of the jokes.
Jetspeed's pretty good.
And I thought Jetspeed was quite funny. Like,
I thought I saw him.
I have to say, like, for me, what was a group of titles with the trios titles that I really like didn't want when I was like watching AEW. Like I didn't find the purpose in it. Now that we're like multiple champions in, this thing's gotten some traction and stuff. Like I freaking love trios titles main events. Like when the Ops won the trios titles against the Death Riders, that was one of the most fun matches of a Dynamite. And then they did it again on Collision with this super fun match with the Ops and Jetspeed or Horsecock or whatever. Like, you know, it was excellent. Like I like that these titles are, you know, I like how they're being used in AEW. It's nice dressing, you know, looks good, right? You got a belt,
Yep.
you know, a lot of belts. 3 people all have belts. Amazing. You look like you're legit. Fucking love it, right?
Yes.
And then, you know, you get to put some championships on people who have kind of been like, you know, sailing about for a little bit. Powerhouse Hobbs, Jetspeed, right? Like guys who could have had a little bit more, could be doing a little bit more, like as we were talking about, right? Especially in the case of Hobbs, who have, you know, are able to have that title, I guess, on their mantle, you know, and even if it's like not the most prestigious right now, I just like the way the belt is just used in factions in AEW, just because of AEW's approach to factions. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah. I dig it. That said, though,
really quick, if we could,
get the video.
I want to put a little. No. I'm reading. Some impromptu poll. This is my call to action for you, folks out there.
Ooh, let's do it.
Comment down below after I read these, which should be the official trios tag team name of Hangman and Jetspeed. So here are a couple options from AEW's tweet. But you, ladies and gentlemen, let us know down below. So Air Horse 1 is pretty damn good. Jetspeed Rodeo is pretty good. Or Jet Set Rodeo, I think is pretty good.
Jet Set Rodeo is really good.
That's pretty good.
I think Jet Set Rodeo is like that's the one. Oh my god.
Jet Set Rodeo is pretty damn good.
Jet Set Rodeo is great. But no, we got horse. Let me move on from that one. Oh no. Horsepower. Someone said horsepower.
Deadeye Velocity is
Deadeye Velocity is nice. Jet Speed Rodeo. Jet Set Rodeo is really good, man. I think that's I really
I don't mind Air Horse 1.
Air Horse 1 is also really funny.
It just sounds funny.
They don't have like a government, like, you know, like they gotta live the gimmick though. But I support
Rodeo is actually kind of like, it's a little funny, but it actually does sound cool too.
Yeah, it sounds
more
cool.
than just funny.
Like I could hear what's his face? Robert. I could hear him saying it, you know, like in an arena. Like, and still Jet Set Rodeo. Like, yeah, it works, man. Like, that's actually a pretty damn good name. Holy crap. So yeah, pretty dope. And you know, like,
I like it.
I like that they went that route. I also like the way that they even developed it, because if you would have told me the losses that Jetspeed were dealing with along the way, because they had lost a lot of matches. Like I think it was like 4 matches up until that point. If you had told me this would have led to them being trios champions, I'm like, how do you even get there? And honestly, like, it was the most. It was
the flimsiest. Valid in asking that question.
It was the flimsiest justification imaginable, and they still pulled it off. You know, but it was also because this is what I think is going to happen. We're going to have a rematch, obviously. Ops are going to win it.
Well, we can't.
Why?
Because the guy who, Hobbs
No. It's going to be Joe, but Shibata and Hook. Like, I think, like, because.
Sure, okay.
The thing is that, like, as much as I do like Powerhouse Hobbs, I was a big fan of the guy. He wasn't even in the Ops to begin with. He was the guy who was added after the fact.
That is true.
So the original Ops was Shibata, Hook, and Joe. That was the original Ops.
Do you think they're going to drop it right back?
I don't think they're going to drop it right back. I think we're going to get a little bit out of this, because this keeps Hangman out of the title picture, and until they can get Hangman, because like they're gonna find a way to get Hangman Kenny and Swerve to like have a triple threat, or even Hangman Kenny, Swerve and MJF for a four-way. Like they're gonna do something there. I don't know, but this is a good diversion for Hangman as a character right now, away from the world title. I actually think it was a pretty brilliant pivot. I wonder if it was like what they had planned the entire time, or if this was genuinely like it happened so fast and like fuck it, because it did feel like on camera it looked like it happened fast, but then when you see the backdrop of Jetspeed losing all these matches, you're like, well, they're actually pretty good. They needed a big win. They were talking about needing a big win, and then boom, they got the big win. So it was like kind of it was like it worked out weirdly for them, like
it's a little like
timing.
I do that is one thing that I don't love though, is like, and that's it's nitpicky of the idea. I'm like, yeah, hey, here's this team that's lost a bunch recently. Let's give them a title match.
Yeah,
I do like it is very old heady. I know of but like you should have to win matches to get title matches. You should have to qualify for title matches.
But the thing is with the trios titles though, they've been so like they don't seem to operate in those rules. The trios
they're
titles
a little bit more loosey goosey.
They're way looser with the trios titles. Like, bro, they freaking Death Riders had those things for months. No one fought them for it. It was just random matches out of the blue. What were you saying? Sorry.
No, but no, to that point, I think that's very true, and I think it's very good use of Hangman's time. He leans some credibility. I don't even like saying credibility, because Speedball and Kevin Knight don't need credibility necessarily, but with a main event guy, it just gives them elevates their platform a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I think I would love to see the people coming after MJF right now. We saw the promo this week with Kenny, Swerve, and Hangman. I think those are still going to be some of your top guys. I would love, because you can't just get to a four-way again. He literally just won it in a four-way.
It would be too much.
If the long-term story was MJF goes through each one of these guys in a one-on-one pay-per-view match, because that gives you your next 3 pay-per-views.
Yeah.
He gets shittier and shittier in how he holds on to it. And then maybe like All In, you have a huge four-way, like a banger of a four-way.
Yeah.
With those guys. They're kind of all united. Like you kind of saw them. We're united in wanting to kick Max's ass, but we all want to win it ourselves. Keep that in mind. So like they all charge towards All In, and then they end up kind of exploding. And I could see a banger of a four-way.
Yeah, me too, man.
You know what I mean? Where
and here's the other part that's
where
crazy.
any of them could come out with Kenny, Swerve. I don't care. Any of them.
You are planning All In, and you're including 3 men who could very realistically main event that. But then you're also got to remember that you have Will Ospreay, who is coming back, who also fits into a story with Max because of what they had went through with the American Championship, and Will already got one over on Max at All In, so that already is a built-in narrative. And then you still have Samoa Joe. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of reconciliation there for him and his situation with the title, or maybe he moves on wanting to get his trios titles back. Who knows, right? There's a variety of directions that they can go there with it. And you even have like Okada, who can realistically exist in that bubble as well. Now that Kenny's involved, like, dude, it's crazy. They could realistically have like just one of the craziest tournaments to determine who's the number 1 contender for the AEW title, and it'd be a combination of Hangman, Will, Okada, Swerve, freaking.
Well, we still, in theory, still have the Owen, right?
Have the Owen.
Presumably, last time that was your number 1 contenders for All In for both men and women.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll change that a little this year, and it'll get you a match elsewhere. But that could be your right there. But
that could be it. Oh man, it could be a wild summer for AEW. And it feels like the writing is on the wall, but we'll see. We'll see, of course, because in pro wrestling, you never want to get too far ahead of yourself. Otherwise, you end up with multiple years of Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. And then at that point, no one's having fun. On the TNA side of things, though, right? While the uncertainty on AEW is, everything we're looking at, and we're like, oh, a lot of really unique directions they can go in here. For TNA, I want to see them go in unique directions. I just hope that we go there, and I want to explore that rather than hang on too many things that have already happened. I think the wrestling community has discussed just everything that we've been witnessing just with WWE, with Raw, with SmackDown, with the TNA shows, with AEW. So let's focus on the future and see where we would like to go for TNA. Because right now, as it stands, actually, I think it would be a really good idea. Let's pull up the TNA website. Let's go and see who is sitting at the top of the mountain and then kind of like build around where we think this or where we would like things to go, right? So as we open things up here, right, I think the easiest one to start with is the Knockouts division. Because I feel like with a great face champion and with an emerging star in Danny Luna in that heel, like she looks like she's going to be a juggernaut heel. I think you have magic here. If we are not getting close to Danny Luna getting the Knockouts championship, like in a couple of months, I would be concerned. I think she should be holding gold this year. But I also think it would just help legitimize this different character, because TNA has always done really well with like big heel, like knockout wrestlers, right? Like Awesome Kong, right? I think is someone I immediately think about. And I think like that could be a potentially really cool one. What do you think? Where do you see like the Knockouts division going? Is there anyone that like stands out to you where you're like, I want to see how this kind of builds up narratively for them throughout the year?
Danny Luna is at the top of the list, no doubt about it. Obviously, Indy Hartwell, too, who arrived in TNA this past year and has a ton of talent and potential. I think so. I want to see more, too, of like some of our newcomers, Mila Grace, Harley Hudson, Jada Stone, Mila Moore, who's doing stuff with like Tessa Blanchard and Victoria Crawford.
Yeah.
But like really start to build this young talent. I think that's where we really need to. We've got some heavy hitters, some legends like the Hardys and everything holding things down. Nic Nemeth, Frankie Kazarian holding down star power and like but like we need to build new people. I think.
Yeah.
And
I think the Knockouts tag
there.
Titles would be fantastic for that, right?
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, right. I think that's where you could really lean into that for them. But you were saying Danny Luna. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
But yeah, no, I'm with you. I think Danny Luna's on that trajectory as it is, and I think it definitely needs to. Should be a big year for her.
Do you think with Danny Luna she would need like a manager or a faction? Is that where her story should go, or should it be about like just being the toughest, baddest, like wrestler in the roster? Where would you see
like
that?
I think she is a powerhouse, hard hitting heel. I don't think she needs a manager, or anything like that. You could like if there's somebody that's like, hey, really good chemistry, this would be really great. But I don't think it's something you need to like seek out. Like, oh shoot, we need to find somebody to talk to her, or we need to find somebody to surround her with. You don't need it. If it works, if there's like, oh, there's a really great idea or chemistry here, great. I think that's always good to do. But as far as needing it, no, she can stand on her own, I think, as a character, as a wrestler, I think she can do pretty much whatever you need her to do.
And honestly, I almost kind of want to see her be like a reverse Jordan Grace almost. Just like here's this like strong, powerful person, but she's a bad guy, and she's gonna do bad guy things. I know Jordan Grace had like a heel. I know she did some bad guy stuff, a couple of times prior to her Knockouts run, right? If I'm remembering that correctly.
Yeah.
But I do think that like that could be a great place to be. And on top of that, also, because I know that they already had a match, Danny and Lei Ying Lee. But I think, like, again, great wrestler, good, pure baby face. You just get like good clashes back and forth. I think right now, like in knockouts, you're looking pretty good. I'm pretty excited for what is to come, and hopefully, some development of, like you said, the up and coming talent in there, which kind of leads into like where I think the Elegance brand is going to be a big part of that as well.
I think so too.
So then we move forward to the X Division. And as far as the X Division goes right now, you do have some great options as far as like great targets for Leon Slater to fight. But I do think that we have to have a serious conversation about maybe, just maybe, Leon Slater's fighting for the world title moving forward.
I said it. I said it at the end of last year.
Yeah. Yeah, he just feels it. He's like too important, like his
100%.
presence was definitely missed in those shows, and obviously like visa issues, working in esports. I understand that we are currently dealing with that right now. Wonder why, because again, just want to say you may not care about politics, but politics will always care about you. But you felt that his presence was missing in that show.
Oh yeah.
And if that's the
100%.
case, then that's world championship material right there. Plain and simple.
No doubt about it.
Like, right? That's how the business works, right? Like,
No, there's no doubt in my mind he will be
yeah,
a TNA world champion. And I mean, without getting into it, as far as you might have to do it sooner than later. Who knows?
No, let's just put it that way. Like, honestly, real talk. You might have to just do it sooner than later.
Because I don't know, like I'm not gonna get into the business side of things, but he's gonna be wanted, let's just say, by everybody and everyone when he is available to be wanted.
Yes.
So take advantage.
Yeah, like no one, like I gotta be clear here for you, especially because I know that you work there, so I just want to be very clear. Like there's no information that we're privy to here.
Nope.
Reason why we're saying that is just because we have eyeballs. And we watch the same show that everyone else watches. And when a guy is not present, and that is like big freaking news, and that dude's like 21, 22 years old, he's like this young prodigy, and everyone's losing their minds because he's not there. That just should tell you that this guy's, like world championship material. So, you'd put the belt on him sooner rather than later. So that said, you've got some great new signings for the X Division. BDE. I think BDE is exciting. He's great. Do I think he wins gold? No. But I think he's just going to constantly be fighting and be in that conversation. That's a great talent to get in there. Cedric Alexander. Hell yeah. He's back into the fray. Get him some more X Division titles or whatever. Right? Like, you got like a Casey Navarro, Judas Icarus, right? Like you got a lot of guys who can very well. Jason Hotch, Mance Warner, even though he's a little bit more of a hardcore, living in his own world type of wrestler, wouldn't hurt. Like adds a different flair to the division.
Man, I mean, we had him, I'm hoping he wasn't there this weekend, but I'm hoping he'll be back. That Bear Bronson.
Yeah, Bear Bronson.
Frankie Kazarian. You talk about being, one of those big men in the X Division.
Yep.
That could be an interesting mix.
Yep, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And let's not forget, you got all sorts of just unreal talent up and down that lineup. When it comes to just like Steve Macklin, you got all of Order 4, Rich Swann, like there is just AJ Francis, who say he's a very polarizing individual, but you put a belt on the guy, he will piss people off, and that's TV. So it's like, yeah, I think that there's a lot here for the X Division and the International Championship. I don't know what they're doing with the international championship though. That is the one that's kind of behooving me right now.
Sure.
Where I'm not sure where this belt fits in TNA's current structure given their roster. So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see what we
Yeah.
get from that, right? Who and even then, like, yeah, I don't. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Maybe this is the belt that we could use that goes back and forth between TNA and WWE wrestlers. Maybe,
Sure.
you know, I'm okay with that, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, like kind of like the way the national title is being used in AEW, even though that was what the All Atlantic title was supposed to be, but then it became the international title. But then they
There's so
made the
many
Continental
stories of
title, and
titles
then
like
they
that. We're like, hey, we're making this title for this thing, and it's gonna be great because we're gonna do all this. And then like a month later, like, never mind, we're not doing any of that.
it feels like when I was like a kid and I would like start up a new like gaming journalism podcast, and I'm like, I have so many ideas. I'm gonna talk only about Xbox, and it's gonna be great. And then I get out my first like 2-3 articles. I'm like, this is amazing.
Like,
Oh my
oh,
god! And then I just
yeah.
ran out of steam, and I just ran out of ideas. And those blogs are still up till this day. I'm not gonna tell you where they are. So you know, like we'll see what happens there, but. As far as the tag titles goes, this is where I'm less enthused. Just because I want to. We got good tag teams. We got to start getting them in the picture. I think a little bit more, right? You know, you have the Great Hands, the Righteous.
Yeah, that's who else?
The System, right? And
I suppose,
think
yeah.
And
You
I
could
think
do,
you need to make some new teams.
yes,
I think you need to make
I
some
think
new
that we
teams.
need some fresh tag team
Yeah.
blood, or like to combine some people. Like, is that
Yeah.
tag team? It's really heavy with the Hardys. You know what I mean? Righteous being added is great. It's it's a ready-made packaged team too, so
Yeah.
it's not just random. But yeah, I think you could use some more. Like,
I think it's
fleshed out.
kind of a blunder that the Nemeths aren't still more involved in the picture, but I know Nic Nemeth.
Sure.
He's still Nic Nemeth at the end of the day, so it's like I still want to see him in singles matches. I still want to see him wrestle singles matches, and
For sure.
I like Ryan Nemeth, but like I just want to see him do Nic Nemeth things. So like I understand. Rich Swann,
Yeah.
AJ Francis, Casey Navarro. Like, it'd be nice to see First Class maybe do more tag team stuff. Like,
Well, they're no longer. There is no First Class.
oh, that's right. That's right. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Sorry
They
about
Dunsky.
They're done. Yeah. So yeah, never mind. I guess then in that regard, like I am curious where you go for the tag division in that regard. That's the one where I'm like, that one we're gonna have to wait and see. We're gonna have to wait and see.
Sure.
What I think would get things off the ground though is a tournament. I think that's what I think that it would be cool. And I'm sure that this is not going to happen, but I think what would be really cool is if, like, you kind of made the lack of competition, quote unquote, in the division the story. And Santino comes out and says, the Hardys are a legendary tag team, the greatest of all time. No one can beat them. No one can touch them. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a tournament. And we're gonna get the new number one contender, and it's open to anyone who wants to be involved, right? And in this way, it's like you can get NXT people to jump in there, so they could be like kind of cannon fodder in the tournament. But then you can also get like maybe some fresh new teams in there, that combinations you hadn't seen before. Maybe this could be TNA's next Brodito. I don't know, but like I want.
Can
that.
you imagine too? Like you couldn't be. Bring in like independent talent who like I think about things like, remember how DIY got started?
Yeah.
In NXT, they were unsigned,
Yeah.
but like they use them, they get other people over, and then they liked them. They were really good. They used them again, and they would put them in tournaments. They were still not signed,
Mm-hmm.
but they started getting featured more until it was to the point where like, well, frick, we just got to sign these guys.
Yeah.
And then that's when they really blew up. But I mean, can you imagine what if we found a really great independent tag team and just like, hey, they're going to be a special guest in this tournament, and then maybe they do really well, and it's like, oh shoot,
Yeah.
we've got new talent here,
Yeah.
and we sign them, and you could discover some people too.
Yeah. I wholeheartedly believe that. And let's not forget, like, there's a lot of pro wrestling that's going out there right now. Was it Limitless Pro Wrestling promotion, Ashe Pro Wrestling, seeing them a lot. Then that's not even counting what's going on internationally with AAA, with CMLL. And I know that those relationships are probably a little bit different, that TNA probably won't be able to interact with. But that doesn't mean that there aren't other options that are out there. Like it is present. It is available, I believe. And I stand with that for sure. I think that could
Agreed.
be something that works out. And yeah, it'd be cool to see like a random pairing too, man. Like, bro, get me like Moose and Eric Young together or something like that. Get me something random, like give me something I've never seen before. And get me excited again, for the division, because I love the Hardys. They just need people to fight against, and realistically, how long will they continue to do this? Like I think they've done more than enough. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. And then we set our sights onto the world title picture. Mike Santana is our TNA World's Heavyweight Champion. And damn, does he look good doing it. Super pumped for him. Right now, circling the picture, seems like it's Nic Nemeth with his Call Your Shot trophy.
Yep.
And Frankie Kazarian, one could presume, will maybe get a rematch of some kind or be involved.
I mean, he technically had it at Genesis. That was his rematch.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Technically. But I mean, he's a guy who can always circle the main event scene. He's going to want to that's a character that will want to get back there.
Sure.
So you could always use him in that scene, but he was just in it. So there's room to move on there for sure.
We have that. As far as the picture goes, my eyes get drawn to two names in particular who I think could be great first feuds for Mike Santana. And he has history with both of these men already. First one is Mustafa Ali. Easy peasy. This is already baked in. His beating Mustafa Ali is what led to the Mike Santana Redemption Tour, where he won, ultimately won the championship. Like, he won that and then just continued to build momentum from that point forward. And, got to Bound for Glory and then, so on and so forth. So there's already something there. And then also Order 4, great faction. It's already there. Next one, the System. Moose. We're back with Moose. I don't think we need to see Moose get the title again, but I would think that it could be a great feud for Santana to have. How do you do that though? I don't know, because the System have kind of been. It feels like they're on a little bit of a face-ish turn.
Oh, they're
like
100. They've been baby faces since the summer.
Yeah.
Full on baby faces.
Okay.
But I mean, you could do a heel turn with them because they've been heels before, right?
Do you need to? Moose, I don't know if you need to, right? I think it would be kind of cool seeing Moose be a face versus a face Santana. I'm not too bothered.
Eddie
by
Edwards
that.
Too still is one of the best wrestlers on the planet, man. Like, he's really freaking good. Eric Young.
Yeah, Eric Young.
You know what I mean? I think he's been I feel bad because I think he's been kind of spinning his wheels.
Yeah.
And he's in the best shape of his damn life. If you take a look at him, holy crap.
I think he should have won the international championship, to be completely honest with you. Not that I didn't like Steve Macklin winning it. No, I love Steve Macklin. I just think that Macklin should be winning it now.
I mean, Macklin's another guy you could see going for the world title too, a former world champion in his own right.
That's true. And you know what? I even like there's an ingrained story there as well with Macklin, if they wanted to go with him kind of returning back to his heelish ways. Because firstly, I think a heel Macklin is great. Like, as much as I do like face Steve Macklin, his approach is so like raw, where it just fits so much more as like a bad guy, but like not really a bad guy. He could just be like more of a brutish heel, like a douchebag who just goes too far, right? And I would like the idea of him maybe potentially being like, hey, you know, when Joe Hendry dropped the title and abandoned us, when Mike Santana failed, who was the one that was holding down the banner? Who was the one and did you guys come out and support me? No. And like, boom,
Easy.
that's your story. You
Yeah.
know, bitter former champion looking to take another person's title. Like, the story writes itself. So I don't know. I think like I think there's a lot there.
I'll tell you what. Call it fantasy booking.
Oh yeah,
right?
brother, fantasy booking. Here we go.
Something I think could happen. I would love to see. To your point, Mike Santana, I think obviously have a good run. I don't think he needs to be champion for like a year and a half or anything like that.
Totally agree.
Like,
Totally agree.
let him knock
I
through
hate you for saying
people.
it, but totally agree.
I know. And like he could hold it for 2 years and like he's that damn good. But let him go through a couple of people, a couple of good feuds, like good, get through a major paper, like a Rebellion or something like that.
Yeah.
But then within maybe before or in the summertime, whether it's Slammiversary or something like that, I think that is where you make the move with Mustafa Ali. I think this year he should be in this heel arc world champion. I think that solidifies him at the top of our card, as he should be, because he's one of the most intelligent and best storytellers we have and best characters we have, and doing some of the best work of his career.
I agree.
So I think you capitalize on that.
I agree.
And then he has a braggadocious, God, that character with a world title.
And it should be a generational run. It should be a generational run. I'm just going to be upfront and say that.
And yes, however, it's like the timing on this is all tough because like I don't want anybody's reign to be cut short, but the timing to get it done, I think, would have to be less than most people would like. However, I think at the end of the year, sometime in there, Leon Slater holds the X title the whole way, uses option C, cashes in.
Bro.
Ali puts over Leon Slater to be world champion before the year out.
To do another one of those, because when's the last time we had that?
I believe the last time, I'd have to. Tom is better at this stuff than I am. I believe
Here you are stepping outside of your comfort zone, and I applaud you for it.
I'm not the stat guy, but I believe was Frankie Kazarian in 2022 to face Josh Alexander at Overdrive or I forget what we call it. It was a short-lived pay-per-view in the fall of 2022.
Okay.
He captured the X title, immediately cashed in for a shot against Josh Alexander and was unsuccessful.
Yeah.
And I think that was the last time it was used.
Wow.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that would be really cool because it does a couple of things, right? As we talked about previously, TNA kind of is exploring not like a reset, but exposure to a new audience, a new look. So one can make the case that this is kind of like the softest of resets for them. And one of those very TNA things is X Division's championship and option C. It's one of the most in my opinion, clever, awesome things in pro wrestling. And it's one that, like, even the way that TNA uses it and handles it, I've always liked as well. It's not like this thing that is you expect it, it's baked in, you have to. It's entirely up to the option of the character, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah. Yes, and actually I do, because for all the wacky ideas TNA has ever introduced, right? Yeah. We're talking about the reverse battle royal, the King of the Mountain, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But like I think the X division continues to be like the best thing. I think it's a signature division of TNA for a reason. Ultimate X is awesome. The matches themselves are just awesome. They really took the cruiserweight thing, the idea of putting big men in cruiserweight style matches, awesome. And option C is a very legitimate, like, I think it's a great, like, high risk, high reward. Like, you had a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, right? Yeah. Like, I have mine, but man, you can have a world title shot anytime you want, but you have to give up your baby.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like it's
And in
high
this
risk.
way,
It's only ever been done 7 times since 2012.
wow. And this way,
So
right?
it matters.
You get the belt off of Leon, so you don't need your top guy to lose right out of the gate, because your world champion will either beat him or you have him, like genuinely win. And look, if you stick
really
with him,
quick,
go for it.
It's only ever been successful 3 times.
That's awesome. So less than 50%
And those
success
guys
rate.
were Austin Aries in 2012, which no matter
Remember
how
that
you
one.
feel about him,
No,
he
I
was
remember
like a
that
top
one.
guy there. Yep.
What a moment,
Chris
too.
Sabin, who was like the heart and soul of TNA.
Yeah.
And then Josh Alexander in 2021.
Okay, dude. I feel like
So,
that's a good.
Leon Slater fits that mold of like, if there's a guy you're going to do it with and capitalize, he's
should
the
be
guy
him.
you could do that with. He'll be the face of the X division for over a year at that point or whatever. And then he makes his move and he wins the big one.
I think fantasy booking, brother, but I think that could very well be it. Honestly, like, why not? Why not?
Why not?
Why not? Why not? What would you lose? What would be the best? What alternative would there be? And that's not to be negative on anyone in the division at all. It's just that, like, when you look at how you need to build your show and your stories and your narratives, you have, firstly, with Mike Santana, a character who has had such a real story that has hooked people, that has gotten people like very engaged with TNA again. So boom, that's one aspect of it, that real aspect. And again, you're an AMC, so you're trying to tell some stories here, right? Then you have the best heel storyteller in your company with Mustafa Ali, guy who is just, he has not sniffed gold in a long time and is still somehow shitting it. Like, how? It's unreal, right? And then you follow that up with your purest, best, most exciting young future of your company. Oh my God. Why would you not? Why would you not? That's
I just selfishly, Ali versus Slater would
feed families.
Generational. I mean, God, truly, like 2 of the best wrestler, not of course athletes. I mean, the athletic side of all the spots, all the wrestling will be good, but like great at selling, great storytellers, really committed, like just mature, fantastic storytellers when it comes to wrestling in that ring. So yeah, I'm itching for that.
It's not like
manifesting that.
It really, and I cannot stress it enough when it comes to these two. I think it's really easy to look at someone like Leon Slater and be like, oh, that's just, like flippy stuff, and like, it's just not, which is why we're taking so much time talking about this, because like, just, I know people were like negative coming out of like, the AMC stuff or the premiere, excuse me, and whatnot. But I'm looking and I'm like, man, what I'm seeing here is it feels like when I first watched NXT Black and Gold for the first time, right? When I tuned in, when it was on the WWE network and they were running this tournament. And they were running this tournament for the brand new NXT championship that they were just about to award. And in this tournament, there was this one guy who was like, going along the ways, guy named Seth Rollins. And, it was he looked okay. I was kind of into him, but I didn't really know who he was at the time. And then I was seeing this other guy. I was seeing freaking Jinder Mahal. And then they're like, why is Jinder Mahal here? I'm like questioning my sanity the entire time. And I'm seeing this guy beat the guys that I am actually excited to watch. And I'm like, why is he here? This makes no sense. Here I am, dumb wrestling fan, watching this show. And then we get to the final, we get to the main event. And then I'm rooting for Seth freaking Rollins. I want this guy to hit him with the curb stomp. I want him to get the win. And it's like, you got to be along for the ride, and I just feel like right now, like I get the perspective. It's completely fair and justified, but man, there's a potential here for a ride that could be so fun And I just hope we
Very
get it, so we can explore that, I think, later down the line, like whether or not the roller coaster was fun or not. But I'm choosing to be more optimistic about the ride rather than be pessimistic before I even hopped in.
100%.
That's where I'm at. That's where I think we should leave it. I don't know. What do you think?
I love it. Nope.
Yeah,
I love that.
I think that works. But of course, folks, we want to hear from you. Let us know in the comments down below. Share your thoughts, right? We'll talk about them on the show. Also, if you haven't had a chance, you can check us out on Discord. You find the link for that in the description down below. But as always, we get down to the end of the show. It's the greatest segment of all time. It's the Rebooked 24/7 champion of the week. And this is, of course, the person, place, thing, whatever that brought us joy this week. And Lord knows we need joy this week. A lot of joy. Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's quite a bit. Yeah. Do you want to go? Do you have
Sure.
you have something that brought you joy? What is it, Matt?
It's a serious note, but it's also just like a layup in my mind. I mean, shout out the Johnny Dango Curtis.
Yeah,
Curtis
man.
Hussey, Fandango, whatever. I mean, his retirement match, we had it at Genesis, and like it was legitimately emotional. Like earlier in the day, the guys from the system kind of gave a speech about him, and a buddy of his that he didn't even know made a music video for him. It's on his socials. If you go find it, I retweeted it and stuff. And he's that guy. He's an unsung hero of wrestling. Like truly, the guy looks great or whatever. Like I said, he's been wrestling since 1999. He's been wrestling 27 years. Before John Cena, before these guys, like he's been wrestling that whole time. Left home at 16 and has been on the road ever since.
Wow.
And he's gone crazy. He's gotten himself sober. He found, the love of his life now, and he's ready for the next chapter. But he is that guy, your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler. He may not have been, the main event world championship guy, but he was always there, and he's one of the best damn wrestlers that, you never gave enough credit to. And not a damn soul that's ever met him or interacted with or hung out with him or wrestled him has ever had a bad word to say about him. And he's one of those guys. Like makes everybody laugh, feel good, feel included. I don't know. He's one of
and
the
you know
good...
what? From the outside in too, he's a guy who very clearly he embodied exactly what our viewer was talking about, what Philo was talking about, like at the start of the show. Just the person who comes in, does the job, super valuable, everyone loves to work with them, and also has their moments. I will never forget doing the Fandango at WrestleMania, and that was because of him, and that was him taking a really silly gimmick and running with it, because he was Johnny Curtis, this like very, rebellious, angry dude. I guess
kind of,
gimmick,
just
right?
Kind of like a hot young guy, right? Classic. I wear a leather jacket, and I'm like, he did that kind of stuff. I got slick
black hair, and I'm
sure.
And then
there was a lot of that era of NXT. That's what a lot of people were just trying to be, just like I'm the bad, kind of what Dolph Ziggler ended up being.
Yep. And but then
so
he comes with his own thing, and it was great. It was fun.
Yeah, wild stuff. So no, much love to him, and I'm glad we could give him a nice proper retirement match and send off on a big stage. So we love him.
No, it's excellent. And I'm also gonna do two. I'm gonna do a serious one, and then I'm gonna end out with a fun one. Okay, so that this way we could. You usually have three, but I think we'll see what we nominate. I think we all know which one we're probably going to end up nominating. But for this next one, I want to say for my 24/7 champ, I just want to give some love to a former 24/7 champ, Jake. Jake, unfortunately, couldn't be here with us this week. But Jake is one of the greatest people that I've ever met in my life. And I'm really glad to be able to do the show with him. And we, of course, miss him. But, you know, we just wanted to take this moment to make him feel all sappy. And that was the more important thing. Embarrass him because we love him. So there you go. But
Damn
Jake,
right.
that's my serious one. And we, of course, hope to have you back next week. But we'll, of course, be keeping you all posted in the community as well. But don't worry, everything is okay. He's just dealing with a winter storm right now. And then the funny one, which I'm going to find it real fast. So I just think in the world where let's just take a moment to just make fun of AI. I just want to make fun of dumb AI slop. And I just want to laugh at the thing that happened with Dominic Mysterio. I can't believe that this freaking happened, man. That Dominic Mysterio in a graphic that aired on, I believe, AAA,
yeah.
which is a WWE produced show now, which means it goes through WWE's checks. No one looked at the graphic because it's AI slop. Everyone, that's why it's AI slop. And when you have AI slop, people don't check it because they think it's, the computer made it, so it's good. Oh my God, this was so funny. I just thought this was great.
Dude.
Oh man. And it's because they were like, he left as the AAA champ, but you know, like you could see here, but hey, but you know what though? Honestly, real talk though, Dominic Mysterio, AEW Men's World Champion one day?
I mean, maybe. Anything could happen.
Is the AI planning the future? I don't know. Maybe. You let us know. You let us know in the comments down below. But as far as the winner goes, we can't give it to Jake again. That would just be too much. We're gonna give it to Johnny Dango. We got to give it to the legend. So Dango, that's for you, my friend. I will nominate you. I'm sure Jake would have nominated you as well. He better have. Honestly, I could have seen him going for the funny AI slop, but he's a sappy guy, so he probably went with Dango too. All right, everyone, that is going to do it for us this week. We hope you enjoyed the conversations, and we want to hear from you. We want to know what you guys think about what we were talking about, right? We had a lot of conversations about TNA and where we think TNA could go. We want to know where you think it could go. Keep it fun, keep it light, keep it positive. We want to see some fun ideas, and we want to talk about those ideas in the next episode. I think that could be really, really enjoyable. So get out there, let us know your thoughts. Who do you want to see hold the championship? What championship would it be, and how do we get there? That's your homework for this week. But for now, make sure you like, subscribe, check out all the stuff that we do across all the social media garbage. And if you happen to enjoy it, you can go to www.rebookedpod.com to keep up with us across everything on the internet. Thank you so much for watching, folks. We'll see you next time. Peace.